Hi, and welcome to our webinar in what is Tip to Get You Black Friday, Cyber Monday ready. We're going to make sure that this webinar today is full of action-packed tips, tricks, and best practice examples that you can start to lean into now as we start to get prepared ahead of that peak trade. I'm really looking at what are the things that we can do to make sure that that optimized tech stack is there to really focus on product discovery all the way through to conversion. Now, we're just going to give it a few moments as people are starting to join the webinar. Whilst we're waiting to get started, grab a copy of SearchSpring's latest ebook, which really dives into that topic of how to turbocharge your tech stack for conversions. What should you be looking at when it comes to auditing, optimizing, as well as reviewing your tech stack ahead of that peak holiday trade. It's a QR code on the screen. We all know what to do with those. Let me introduce today's panel of speakers. So firstly, I'm the host today, Kate Massey, the head of APAC for SearchSpring, introducing Hugh, the gorgeous face of gorgeous, who really looking forward, really. We know as we lead up to that peak trade, customer service, frontline teams can be overwhelmed with the things that they need to do. And so really keen to kind of hear how Hugh is helping brands and retailers do more with less and really focus on that customer experience. We have the very fabulous founder and CEO, Jess from Evocative Media, who are a go-to partner for really elevating marketing and paid media performance with brands. What are the things that you can be doing right now, during peak, and then post-peak as well? And we also have the dynamic duo, Rihanna and Sahani. What I'm really interested to unpack today is bridging that gap between e-com and digital marketing. And when you have those teams working super close together, how do we elevate that performance and achieve record results, which the team did last Black Friday and are on track for another one this Black Friday as part of the Age Collective. So let me pass over to Jess, who is really starting to unpack the topic of how to maximize your growth during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as it relates to paid social and email marketing strategies. So welcome, Jess.
Hi, Kate. Great to be here today. So today I'm going to be sharing some key strategies to help brands maximize their growth during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now I'm going to focus on two main areas. The first one being mastering Black Friday, Cyber Monday ad strategies. So I'll guide you on how to plan, schedule, and optimize your paid ad campaigns to ensure you're getting the maximum impact before, during, and after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And secondly, I'll be focusing on email marketing growth strategies. So I'll discuss how to effectively engage your email and SMS lists, automate those key flows, and optimize customer journeys to drive conversions and build long-term loyalty during this really critical and I think one of my most favorite times of the year for e-commerce and retail brands. So moving on just into the first round of tips and tricks that we've got here. So Kate, I'll just get you to flip over to the next slide. So in terms of what these look like for paid ads, specifically for e-com brands, so I want to rapid fire through these. These strategies are definitely geared more towards your meta ads and will help you plan effectively, stay ahead of the competition, and ensure your campaigns are set up for success during, before, and after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So tip one, pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it is time to ramp up your top of funnel efforts now. Now, a lot of brands think that it might be a little bit too early, but it is absolutely not. In the lead up to November, it's really important to focus on your top of funnel efforts. So you'll want to start prospecting now so that when Black Friday, Cyber Monday actually arrives, you've done a lot of the heavy lifting already. So the goal is to build a large retargeting pool, as offers during Black Friday, Cyber Monday are a lot more effective when targeting audiences that are already familiar with your brand. Now, remember, no one wants an offer from a brand they've never heard of, which is why it is so important to start priming your audiences now. Number 2, keep your top performing evergreen ads running. Now, what we tend to see is a lot of brands will build out a strategy and they'll have really strong performing BAU ads and they'll just turn them off. This is definitely not what we recommend. These ads are already optimized and likely to continue to perform well during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So we want to keep these on during that peak period. Schedule your ad campaigns in advance. Now, the ad approval process can take up to 48 hours during peak periods. So to avoid any delays in getting those ads rolled out, you want to schedule them early. Given that Black Friday, Cyber Monday falls over a weekend, 72 hours, and yes, a lot of brands go early and they get several weeks out of this period, we still want to make sure that we've got those ad campaigns already scheduled well in advance so you don't miss out on your opportunity. Number 4, consider utilizing reach campaigns for high quality audiences. Now, reach campaigns can help you to ensure your top audiences see your ads and they allow you to control frequency effectively. Now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is notoriously very, very competitive with more advertisers and bigger ad spends. And you might think that brands are pulling back, but we know because we're working with a lot that they are absolutely not pulling back on spend. If anything, they're being a lot more bullish, knowing that some advertisers are actually reducing their spend. So this increased competition really shrinks your ad real estate, leading to fewer impressions and much higher costs. So controlling impressions, especially towards your higher value audiences, really increases visibility and keeps your offer top of mind. Number 5, leverage existing campaigns and ad sets. So use the momentum of your current campaigns rather than resetting that learning phase with new ones. The last thing you want is to be stuck in the learning phase during this period. And last but certainly not least, don't worry about your ad frequency during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. A lot of brands really tend to panic about this, but increasing frequency during Black Friday is actually really beneficial to the brand. It keeps your ad in front of potential buyers as they are more likely to convert. So consumer behavior will definitely shift during this period, with many people waiting for the best offers before purchasing. I know this, I do the same, but we tend to see this year on year. So high frequency ensures you remain top of mind and don't lose out to your competitors. Okay, moving on to email marketing. Now, we're going to focus on Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategies. These are just some tips to help you maximize engagement, drive conversions, and build long-term loyalty through targeted and effective email campaigns. So, number 1, have a separate strategy for VIPs. This is something that we see work really well every single year. And it's been like this for several years. So if the data tells us so, then let's really lean into that. The approach here is to reward loyalty and drive engagement by creating a unique experience for your most valuable subscribers. A really great example of this is by giving special early access or exclusive offers just to those VIPs. Number 2, leverage strategic resends. This strategy is not only great for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but will also help you get more juice out of the squeeze, aka revenue, for your email campaigns. Now, this approach here is to give your emails a second chance to connect with subscribers by using strategic resends. So rather than recreating an entire new email from scratch, what we like to do is duplicate it and then make minor adjustments and targeting adjustments just specifically to those who might have missed or didn't engage with the original email. This is a really, really strong strategy, and we see it perform very, very well, especially during these peak sales periods. Number 3, test sending plain text emails for better engagement. Now, I think a lot of brands tend to freak out about this, especially those that are very, very heavy in terms of that brand focus and the look and feel of email campaigns. It can be a little scary when you start to send plain text emails. But what we know to be true is that during these peak sales periods, that inbox can get very, very cluttered and very early on in the piece. So those plain text emails can help you get better cut through and often feel a lot more personalized and can result in better engagement. Actually, a really great advanced tip here would be to use plain text emails to reach out to those who added items to their cart but haven't actually completed the purchase. We see this strategy work really, really well for a lot of brands. Number 4, strengthen your post-purchase journey. The post-purchase experience is crucial for retention, especially with new customers during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So you want to ensure you've got your post-purchase email automation set up, nurturing customers after they've made that purchase. This is also a really great way to encourage product adoption post-purchase and keep those customers engaged. Number 5, ensure the core foundational flows are set up. Now, you want to make sure that these flows are already active and optimized well and truly before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So if there is one thing to take away from my session here with your email marketing is start now. I think really that is the theme. A lot of brands tend to wait until it's too late and they're not doing the relevant testing ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So when it comes to those email automations, we definitely want to see those core revenue driving email flows set up. This includes the welcome flow, the abandoned checkout flow, the browse abandonment flow, the post-purchase flow, and the customer win back flow. And then on the topic of flows and also sort of bringing into pop-ups, because obviously this is how we capture data that feeds into your email database and ESP, we want to align your email automations and pop-ups with your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. So you want to pull through that very specific Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales messaging into those pop-ups and then across those automations as well. Some of the things that we do for our brand, so pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we will clone and adjust existing flows with very specific messaging that's very relevant to the sale, and then remove any unrelated discount mentions within those flows. Obviously, after the sales period, we want to turn back on those BAU flows. Again, just for those pop-ups as well, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you want to ensure on-site pop-ups actually reflect the sale or launch messaging for a much more cohesive customer experience. So those are the specific tips for email marketing. I'd actually love to move on to the flows in particular because, as mentioned in my previous slide, ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's really important to prioritize the setup and performance of the core foundational flows. Now, our work with Age Athletica is a really great example of why this is so important. I know I've got Sahani on with me here today, and I just wanted to run through a couple of those core automations that we set up for them, which included the welcome series, the abandoned checkout series, added to cart series, browse abandonment series, post-purchase series, and the win back series. I know just looking at the results there in the account and then obviously on screen, we can see some really, really strong performance with a 30 times return on investment. I'd love to actually ask you, Sahani, I know you work very closely with our team to get these flows up and running and in place. Can you walk us through the key email flows that have significantly driven revenue for Age Athletica and what made these particular flows so impactful?
Yes, so we did work very closely with the evocative team, and what we learnt was there's this huge opportunity that exists from setting up these foundational flows, particularly from a revenue perspective, not just engagement. So I'd say that there were 2 key email flows that really contributed to driving an increase in revenue. The first one is our welcome series. So this is where we've really been able to meaningfully engage with new or prospecting customers. So this series consists of 4 emails over a period of time where we introduce them to the brand, introduce them to our purpose, our community, and then we're also offering those new customers with an incentive to make their first purchase. And then the second key email flow that's driven significant revenue for us is the abandoned checkout series. So this series is lower funnel and it's capturing those with strong purchase intent. So what's made this flow so impactful is that we actually identified potential barriers to purchase and included this in our flow messaging. So for example, it could be payment options, return and shipping policies, our size guide, and even a prompt to our customer care services. And then we also used UGC content in the flow to inspire customers and showcase the product on actual other people. Another really good thing that we did in this flow was that we only offered a discount to incentivize a customer's purchase based on a cart value threshold and if they are a new customer. So I'd say those two have really moved the needle for us.
Love that, and really great to see such strong performance. Definitely what we set out to achieve together. As a part of the strategy, I know we implemented the search spring feeds for Age Athletica. Could you elaborate on how the integration has enhanced your personalization strategy and elevated customer experience and driven ROI?
Yes, so we've used those messaging recommendations from SearchSpring and integrated that with Klaviyo for all of our dynamic product feeds, which you can see across all of our email flows. And I think the main benefit of this integration is that we're using real-time, data-driven insights that's based on both customer behavior and product performance to really increase that relevancy and personalization for individual shoppers. And ultimately, that's increased our conversion rate. The integration has also allowed us to implement effective upselling and cross-selling strategies in our email flows, which is leading to higher average order values as well. I think another really important aspect is that it's been fantastic to have our post-purchase and on-site experiences really aligned. So for example, the product badges that you see on site, such as new in, is actually pulled into the email dynamic feeds to mimic that same user experience on site. So it's creating this really cohesive journey and extends the shopping experience, not only on site, but through all of our marketing comms as well.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the things that has really made this whole experience so easy, just from our side, and I'm sure your side too, is the partnership that we have with SearchSpring. Anything that's sort of come up really made that transition and setup so much easier. And I know that from our side, it was just a very seamless experience. And obviously starting to see some of those results coming through, we're really, really pleased with the execution of that strategy. So thanks for that, Tahani.
Yes.
I guess, and then that's pretty much me. Thank you, for listening to some of those quick tips, rapid fire on Black Friday, Cyber Monday for paid ads, email marketing, and then of course, some of the really incredible results we've helped Age Athletica achieve through email marketing and those core email flows. As an agency, we specialize in growth for e-commerce brands specifically across these channels. If you've got any questions for me specifically around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or anything in between, please feel free to get in touch or check us out online.
It's great. Such fantastic results being achieved from those strategies, like 30x ROI. And really, like, what jumped out to me was having those different experiences, right? So those VIP shoppers, and how do you stand out when it's the most crowded time of the year? And I love the thought of getting prepared now, because it should be our favorite time of the year, right? We shouldn't be approaching this period with dread. We should be getting prepped and ready to really maximize everything. So thank you for sharing. And let me invite Rihanna to join us as we start to talk about how to create a really great online shopping journey from product discovery all the way through to delight. And Age certainly do that. I am a shopper. Whenever I go to site, I spend longer than I expect to spend on site. I look at more products, I add more to cart, and I always convert at a higher average order value as well. So Rihanna, why don't we start by talking about, there's a lot of work that goes into, as Jess was talking about, getting the right customers onto site. How do you then create more engaging product discovery journeys for shoppers when they are there?
Yeah, absolutely, Kate. You're right. It's really hard work to get people onto site. And as Jess said too, it's really at this time of year expensive to get them onto site. So it's critical that we engage them once they're there. I guess one thing we really rely on is personalization. So something we've really been experimenting with is personalized merchandising during promotional periods. So leaning on personalization at this time means our customers really see those relevant products based on the data of sort of matching or similar customer profiles on site and what they had already previously looked at. So it means we don't have to make these consistent manual merchandising changes during periods of high traffic. And we can sort of rely on the data to do that heavy lifting. We also use personalization through our PDP and 404 page recommendations. So our PDP recommendation, we tap into the cross-sell profile on SearchSpring, which allows us to show our customers complementary products to those that they're actually looking at. And then on our 404 page, we really tap into similar product profiles. So if someone's landing on a 404 page, they've made a bit of a whoopsie, by having a similar profile, we can navigate that user back to their intended destination very quickly. And then sort of the last area we focus on is around geo-merchandising. So this is specifically obviously for our global customers, to ensure we're promoting those seasonally appropriate, but also just trend appropriate styles for their location. I mean, as you can imagine, styles that our customers like in Florida vary greatly to those that customers might like in New York. So the geo-merchandising just allows us to sort of target all customers in all regions really efficiently.
Yeah, I love that. So really focus on that right product, right shopper, right time. But when you're running that multi-brand, multi-domain approach and a relatively lean team, how do you do that at scale through leaning into the tech to do the heavy lifting? So then talk about, you have different styles of shoppers. So you release lots of fantastic new product drops and new collection drops. And so you have those loyal shoppers that are waiting for those new products to come out. They want to get a first access to those new arrivals, which are typically those full price items, but then you are at a higher price point. And as we know in the current environments, that higher price point can be challenged. And so you do have those shoppers that are looking for that sale. Why don't you talk us through those different strategies?
Yeah, so one of the things we rely on is around contextual exclusions with our recommendations. So something that we do for our full price customer and our sale customer is often someone who is just looking to purchase sale. They don't often cross over all the time. It does happen, of course, but often our sale customer just wants to purchase sale. So something we do with our recommendations is we really use, we'll have only sale products displaying in the recommendation, and then vice versa for our full price customers, we'll only have full price products displaying for that full price customer. I think something we also do is we'll implement category rules to our recommendations if we have some sort of bundle offer. So a promotion we ran a few months ago with Athletica is we had a bra bundle offer, a bra and legging bundle offer, a sports bra. So our customers could purchase a full price set of leggings and then get a sports bra for 50% off. And so something we did with this is on all of our legging PDP pages, we popped sports bras into the recommendations at the bottom of the page. And vice versa, for leggings, we put, for sports bras, we put leggings at the bottom. And we paired this alongside the product flags through SearchSpring with the offer attached. And that just meant that customers who were looking at a legging and may have come in from a different source, so maybe not from our homepage where the offer was very visible, or through an email where the offer was very visible, maybe they came in through Google or a paid ad, they were able to see that bundle offer really easily and then shop the best-selling products that match those leggings accordingly. And so we really did see a boost in our conversion rate during that period from that.
Yeah, I love that. That bundle and save 2-4-3-4 is definitely a strategy brands are using at the moment to grow average order values, and using things like the badging, the automated badging to call out those different promotions. And as Jess was talking about, having that really cohesive experience for those promotions that are happening. So let's talk about increasing conversions. We know, again, in the current operating environment, everyone is looking at how can we really move the needle on growing conversions. So we know in fashion that shoppers using search convert at a higher rate and a higher percentage of revenue. Typically, it's 16 to 34% of revenue coming from search. some of our standout brands are now up to 45% of revenue coming from search. So how do we, when we know that those shoppers do convert at a higher rate using search, what are some of the tactics that you can do to help shoppers find the perfect products for them quicker?
Yeah, so we definitely see this at Age and at Age Athletica. So for some of certain periods of time, we can see that our search can, our users can convert up to 12 times more than someone who doesn't use the search bar. So something we did just from a functionality point of view is we actually pulled out our search icon into an exposed search bar just to make it more visible to our customers and to really encourage them to use the search feature. So that was sort of just step one. We did that late last year before Cyber period, and we saw a huge improvement in our uptake of the search function on site. And then I guess we worked really closely with your team, Kate, to build out our search suggestions window. So we made sure that we included our most used filters in the search window. So things like color, style, size, but we also made sure that we're using tailored filters per category. So another search, say you search pants or leggings, we wanted, say, pants length to be in there. So it was very easy for a customer to choose full length or 7/8 or ankle length. And we also show our customers within this search window similar and popular searches, as well as the popular products that actually directly match their search. So it allows those customers to see relevant products and narrow down their search without having to load additional pages, click through filters. It's just a lot quicker and more efficient to get them to the destination that sort of their buying need, like to basically get their needs met straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of my go-to best practice shopping examples as well when we are demoing for brands, looking at how can they really tap into that motivated search shopper. Now, we know conversion is a big play for everyone at the moment, but so is increasing the average order value. So talk to us about some of those strategies that you've employed with a focus on growing the average order value.
Yeah, so this was one of my favorite things that we worked on last year. So we created an accessories upsell recommendation for our mini cart on Age Athletica. We know that the AA customer has a very limited basket size. So we just wanted to push AOV just slightly, just as much as we could possibly do it. And we created a recommendation profile that showcased accessories under $50. And we saw amazing success. And we tend to see really great success with this recommendation profile during a period, like a promotional period particularly. So last year in Cyber period, we had this carousel up, and we actually saw that 20% of the accessories collection revenue that we took over that period came from customers who saw that mini cart recommendation and added directly to their checkout at that point. So it had huge value for us. And we also paired this alongside other UX features at the time. So we implemented at the time a free shipping threshold bar. And we thought maybe pairing the two together would encourage customers who are quite close to hitting that threshold to just add another accessory to the cart to hit the threshold, qualify for free shipping. And it did work. And I guess given the success of that recommendation, something we really wanted to do was bring it over to Age. So we are trialing it on Age currently. We're just trialing in a slightly different format. So we have brought the checkout to, the recommendation to our checkout as part of our checkout extensibility upgrade. So it's very early days for this recommendation, so I don't have much to report back, but we are using that same strategy to promote accessories. We definitely know it's going to be a harder sell for Age, given that the AOV of Age products is significantly higher than Athletica. But I think that this is sort of our starting point for this test, and what we're sort of thinking we might do is bring over some Athletica accessories as well to this checkout recommendation to see how they go, because they're going to service our customer in the same way, and we think just so those small add-ons may have a huge difference for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I think one of the takeouts for those joining and listening today is really go ahead, look at what those upsell, cross-sell on the PDP, at the mini cart, at checkout level are, and make sure that they make sense, and start to test those different kind of products and see what is actually going to convert before we start to drive that peak traffic. So we'll welcome Sahani back, because we've spoken about improving conversions and growing the AOV. And then what about delighting customers after the sale? And I know we touched on this with Jess, but any kind of last tips and tactics that you're using to bring those shoppers back to site post-sale, to really make sure that they do kind of grow that lifetime value?
Yeah, so we are definitely using very different search spring product recommendation feeds depending on the flow strategy. So for example, in our post-purchase series, our strategy has been to tailor the messaging depending whether they're a first-time or returning customer. And what we've actually seen is that there's a very strong conversion rate from those returning customers, where we've included a personalized product feed that complements the purchase that they've just made, it's interesting. They've just made a purchase and they're converting again when that second email is sent. So we're also using cross-selling and upselling feeds very similar to the experience on site, but we're just using these in our email flows, specifically our abandoned cart, browse abandonment, and then abandoned checkout email flows. And just one other tactic that we've seen be effective is that we're setting up product rules. So such as best-selling product feeds, new arrival product feeds, where we're excluding sale product and really trying to push that full price and have a more positive impact on our margins.
Yeah, I love that. Profitable conversions is definitely what we want to be seeing going into this peak. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rihanna and Sahani. In terms of search spring, so we are so passionate about all of the tips that we've just kind of gone through, with a real lens on how do we use product discoverability to get that right product, right shopper at the right time, but with a real lens on what's going to move the needle on growing conversions, growing the average order value, but how can we really lean into the tech to do more of the heavy lifting without losing those brand controls as well. Very excitingly, we have just done an acquisition of a company called Intelligent Reach. And what gets us really excited about this is really looking to optimize data feeds to really do what Jess was talking about, what's going to give us higher visibility and higher performance when it comes to Google Shopping and social commerce platforms, Meta, as well as marketplaces as well. So how can we test different product types, different titles, and different product images to really see what is going to improve that conversions? Because when we're driving that high quality traffic to site and then we're giving that traffic the best chance of converting, that's a really solid value prop. So super excited by that. If you'd like to learn more, there is a QR code on the screen as well. So let's change gears and I'll pass over to Hugh, who's going to talk about how to really make sure we provide that great customer experience during peak times when everyone is super busy.
Amazing. Thanks, Kate. And lovely to be here. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you who are listening today might have heard of Gorgias, viewing it as that initial help desk platform. And normally customer success and customer experience is something that we see added on into the back end of a process. You know, it's so pivotal for times like BFCM, but quite often it's being considered as a nice little addition once the rest of your strategy is in place. This year has, of course, seen a massive significance placed towards LTV, making sure that the customers that you're bringing on your site and in store are going to continue to come back to you and really creating that loyalty piece around it. And that's really what we focused on within building out a number of automation tools, as well as conversion toolkits to really help drive from that Gorgias platform a continued experience that supersedes any other competitors in the space. And that's something that Age has done so well. So welcoming Ree back on. The first question I have for you, and on that note, and I'm really excited to get your viewpoint on this, is what does customer experience mean to Age and your team as a brand itself?
Customer experience is everything. I guess without our customer, we don't have a brand. So I think it's about creating that seamless experience where our customer feels really understood, feels really valued at every point of their journey on site, but also at every point beyond the transaction as well. So it's just everything we can do to build brand loyalty, really.
Amazing. You're spot on. And I think when it comes to loyalty, there's so many different triggers and different types of data that you can be pulling from that. I think one of the great examples for you as a team is looking back on previous sales period, the likes of which include previous BFCM. I guess the first thing to highlight is, when looking at those value-led customer experience journeys, what were the lessons that you learned from 12 months back when you're starting to think about this process, and how you really provide them with that next tier experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, we learned a lot from cyber period. I think we experienced a volume of tickets that we maybe couldn't have anticipated last year. And I don't think we had optimized Gorgias as a platform to its full potential. So that's something we're working really hard this year to get ready for, and to make sure we are as ready as we could be for peak period. I think one of the major areas of opportunity for us was around flows. So we have been setting up flows for our most common queries, but one that has been an absolute game changer for us is all around the faulty item flows. So previously it was taking our customer service team up to a week to resolve a ticket about faulty items, because they would need to go back and forth with the customer to collect relevant information around the fault, to provide that information back to our production team, to process the refund, to then send out a new item to our customer. Whereas setting up this flow has allowed our customer service team to basically collect all of the order information, all of the item information, and photos of the fault before the ticket is even created in Gorgias. So they can then hop into the platform and resolve the ticket within a matter of hours, really. So that's been game changing for us. And then I think another area of opportunity for us based on last year is all around the Gorgias tracking page. So by far last year, our biggest query was, where's my order, during peak period. And as I mentioned, we hadn't quite optimized the platform just yet. So at the time, I was actually searching for alternative tracking apps and providers to sort of offer this to our customers, when it was really within our tech stack the entire time. So quite a miss on my part, and something that I'll definitely have in place this year for Black Friday. But overall, we're looking at any way we can improve our macros, build out our help center, and just automate as many processes and conversations as possible so we can provide the best service to our customers this year.
Absolutely. And it's a great point on the automation side. Obviously, the landscape is very different this year when looking at what the trajectory of e-com businesses comes when it comes to a headcount point of view as well. Within that massive increase in ticket volume, quite a lot of people have previously looked at opportunities such as outsourcing, new agents to come on for certain periods of time, to really try and get ahead of it. And what Gorgias is really focused on this year is that automation piece, particularly with our products Automate and AI Agent. I think when it comes to that, focusing on what Age is doing, how are you looking to optimize the AI tools that we have in place? I know you've got a conversation with our team later this week to be able to help you drive that even further. But what are probably some of those 2 to 3 main areas that you're looking to focus on?
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at AI Agent. As you said, we and a lot of brands, we have a very lean team, but we have a very mighty team. But to optimize the platform by using automation would mean that we can free up our CX team to really prioritize servicing our customers in a different way and provide, above and beyond service to those customers. So around styling advice or anything that maybe needs a little bit more time and effort into a complex query per se. So I guess AI Agent, I think for us, the fact that it can completely resolve a customer query and in a conversational tone, it's really going to be game changing for us. And we're really looking to utilize it, I guess, specifically around more of the common queries that we get. So like I said, order tracking, returns, shipping, I think all of those sort of policy questions, it's something that the AI Agent can take on really seamlessly for us.
Amazing. And you're spot on. I think when it comes to those repetitive tasks that take up significant time and workload for your team, that's something that, with all the AI tools that are available for an e-com site like yourself, it's not something you should be focusing on. And that's why with AI agents, particularly through that automate function, is going to be able to take away those repetitive tasks, completely action those commands for you as well. If someone wanted to make an adjustment on their Shopify order, it will go and do that for you. So it means your team has the freed up workload to be able to work on amazing projects along the likes of evocative media and what you're doing with SearchSpring. And I think one of the areas that I would love to highlight with you is obviously the help center, not something necessarily you consider to be an absolute pivotal piece of revenue generating function, but where we found from our side, it's massively changed the way that customers can convert. And within our AI generated help center articles, how are you going to look to put those forward to make sure by the time BFCM comes around, you're in the best place possible for success?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess like all retailers during peak season, everyone receives an influx of tickets just around the basic store policies. So returns, order tracking, shipping, everything we've just sort of covered. And we do have individual FAQ pages for all of those areas. But I think the help center, I'm really envisioning to be a hub for all of this information. And I think one of the areas it is going to add so much value to our customers is that it's a searchable hub. We don't need to sit there and remake everything because the AI basically sort of takes in our policies and then creates the articles. And I think we're hoping that it'll allow our customers to really self-service queries and questions before they're escalated as tickets, which again, will free up our CX team during the peak period, but also the weeks following peak period to just allow them to service our customers to the best that they can. And I guess a learning from last year is anything we can do to reduce tickets this year, we are actively pursuing. So everything around AI and everything Gorgeous is doing in that space, we are looking to onboard.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you, Ian. Sahani, I know you'll be joining us as well for this, particularly within that data set and trying to understand how you can automate that workload whilst making sure that obviously knowing your customer is such a pivotal piece of the entire purchase journey. Gorgeous is really centralized around the integrations that we have across your entire tech stack. We've got over 150 integrations available. And on that note, within the tech stack that Age uses, what are you really doing with Gorgeous to enable you to get that information where it needs to be and really see a value add and ROI from this?
Yeah, so there's that direct integration between Gorgeous and Klaviyo, which makes it a very easy solution to deliver more personalized interactions with our customers across our marketing funnel. So for example, we're currently strategizing how we can respond to positive satisfaction surveys by promoting new products to drive that upsell and revenue. But also on the other hand, how can we exclude customers with those open support tickets from promotional messaging campaigns to avoid any further dissatisfaction?
Absolutely. And I think the Klaviyo integration is a really positive one, whether it be positive or negative sentiments that you're getting across either the Klaviyo SMS bump or any of the products that they're using, but alongside within Gorgeous, all of that different variety of tickets that you might be receiving, you want that information to be upfront and available to you within any of the tools that you have. You don't want to be going to have to look for it deep within some dashboard. And I really, really am excited to see the way that you guys leverage this as a team at Age and really make the most of all the opportunities available by just having that data available to you. So thank you, Sahani. Perfect. Yeah, just on terms of an overview of Gorgeous, then we're really, really excited into what our brands and merchants are going to be able to achieve with BFCM through that automation piece. Our CEO made it very clear when we started the year out that obviously the way that you can retain and increase the conversion of a customer is by creating an e-com experience that is similar to what a lot of people have in mind psychologically within a fantastic retail purchase journey. So how can we really replicate that example and leverage the automation that is available? You've heard there the AI agent is our new release. It is what you can do as a brand to automate up to 50% of your total volume of tickets, as well as have this tool action those commands for you. We're working with the likes of July, a few other of these fantastic businesses, Age, 15,000 merchants globally, to make sure that they get time back in their day to really see out the best ROI possible from their tech stack, working with the likes of Evocative and SearchSpring to increase that AOV, as well as get customers in front. And the way that you can do that is really by prioritizing an elite level CX. And if you'd like to find out more, I'd really encourage you to talk to us, have a conversation with us, and find out more about how you can get time back and continue to drive success for your business.
Yeah, I love that. And what I love most about this is AI is thrown out as a buzzword all of the time, right? This is real practical use of AI. And when Ria's talking, taking things from days to hours, and with things like order statuses, making that in near real time, so it doesn't even need to touch a person. So game changer. The other kind of call out I had there from Rihanna was already in the tech stack, right? And so one of the key things to be doing now in the lead up to Black Friday is making sure you're across and working with your tech partners to make sure you are getting the most out of the different areas of the tech, so that you can have that really optimized Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So let us move into questions. So I'll get the panel to all turn their videos back on. We've got some really great questions coming through. First one is for Ree. So do you have any advice on testing new or optimized part of your tech stack before heading into major sales events? And how much time do you normally leave when making changes?
Yeah, good question. I think the most important thing is that you need to map out what you want to achieve. I guess set a hypothesis and set some very clear objectives for what you want to achieve, and then look at the tech stack you had. So just like I said, it was within our tech stack for Gorgeous. That was a miss and a learning that I've taken into everything I've done this year. Fortunately for us, I think within our industry is that, like we've spoken about this entire panel, a lot of tech platforms in the industry are very well integrated. So we can really make the most of that and optimize our stacks without having to get additional investment from the business. I think in terms of time, like teams are lean, time is precious, and Cyber Week really rolls around before you know it every single year. And I think people do leave it too late to optimize platforms that they already use. So I think you really need to build out a testing plan that spans the year and really lean into A/B tests all year, tests for smaller promotional periods as well, and then capture those learnings and really iterate.
Yep, love that. Next one, we've got a question for Jess. So what paid ad channels tend to perform best for clients during Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Great question. I'd probably say a lot of brands ask this every time it comes into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So we typically see brands go all in on Meta and Google ads during that time. And typically because we see these drive the highest volume of conversions, obviously with the right strategy in place. However, we are actually starting to notice that a lot of brands are starting to invest in TikTok ads as well. But if you are thinking about investing in paid ads on this channel, the key is that you actually ensure you've got enough creative assets specifically tailored and designed for this channel to actually achieve strong performance. A lot of brands want to do all of the things, but typically spreading that budget thin across multiple different channels and only getting a mediocre or below average result across all of them is not going to be the best strategy. So I would always recommend prioritizing what tends to perform and work really well for you, BAU, and then really double down on strategies and performance across these specific channels. So typically Meta and Google tend to drive the highest conversions.
Great. Good to hear. So Sahani, what about from your side? Any tips on the highest impact email flows, both during a promotion as well as post-promotion as well?
So I would say during the sales period, those transactional flows, so your abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, and browse abandonment are going to be very effective in converting your customers. But then I would say leading into and then after the sales period, it's all about re-engagement and retention of these customers that you've acquired in the sales period. So there's three main flows that will have a high impact pre and post sales. I think firstly, it's your welcome series to really capture those new signups, introduce them to the brand and engage them. Secondly, your post-purchase series. So this is where you can capitalize already on that customer's engagement with your brand and create an experience that's going to maximize the likelihood for them to purchase again. And then finally, it would be your win back series. So this is for a customer that may have made a purchase with you during Black Friday, but then you need to re-engage them and potentially incentivize them to purchase with you again. So whether it's offering a discount code for those first-time purchases, or maybe reminding your loyal returning customer of the brand with a new collection drop.
Yeah. Great tips. Thank you. I'll pass this one next to Hugh. We've got lots of questions coming in around the best use cases for AI in customer service, particularly that can still be actioned, and what is going to give me, so the person tuning in, the best advantage.
It's a great question. I think you mentioned it earlier, Kate, with the fact that AI is a massive buzzword right now. And I think the main use case that I'd say and recommendation is to really lean into it. There's so many opportunities. And I think with Gorgias, probably the two that I'd like to highlight is the self-service functionality you can get through Automate, having a live chat where your FAQs are readily available for your customers to really understand. We've had loads of brands use those as upsell opportunities as well, because you can create the narrative and understand what your customer is trying to look for. Let's say you're like Age and you've got loads of SKUs available. You're really able to centralize what the customer might be going after, and therefore putting the information and recommendations in front of them. The second, I would say, is that AI agent side. You can have a fully functional AI agent over both your email and, I think, in a week's time on your live chat too, which is personalized and enacted entirely in your brand tone of voice. It takes less than half an hour to set up. People are consistently training it, and it's completely tailored to what your business sounds like, how you'd like to engage with your customers. And it's outperforming all of the agents that you have in place with that repetitive workload. The average response time we've seen across email is currently less than 1 minute. As you can imagine, with that high volume of tickets, if 50% of those FAQs are being answered within a minute, what is that doing for your customers' mentality and love for your brand? Because they're getting all the information they want. And naturally, that is going to result in higher revenue and higher performance across the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. The next question we've got, so you spoke about AOV, which is a key strategy for us this year. What things can we do to grow AOV? And I know we unpacked some of that today, but some of my kind of call outs on that would be really making sure you've got those smart recommendations that make sense. So if you go to site and shop your site, when you're on the PDP, are the most relevant products coming up, how to test those different strategies in terms of cross-sell, upsell, similar products, complementary products, accessory items, and then looking at that cart, that checkout, pushing those into those email flows. But I think as well, so we haven't touched on it today, but we did an acquisition late last year of a company called Increasingly. So this is one of the UK's top 10 retail tech startups. And this is really a play on growing the AOV through AI predictive product bundles. So what items are shoppers frequently purchasing together and how to make them as shoppable as possible from the PDP, using inline banner functionality to drive traffic back to your new arrivals collection or your best sellers, which are typically a higher AOV, those top sellers, those top rated products you can typically maintain and don't have to discount as deeply for those. So really making sure that traffic is spending longer on site and not just shopping your sale products during those peak sale price. And we also spoke about those 2-4 or 3-4, so that bundle and save, and using those automated badges to really promote what those different sales are as well. In terms of Jess, why don't you tell us the answer to this one? So how to optimize messaging for sale periods versus non-sale periods?
Yeah, another really good question. So I'd say it's very important that the messaging is different to your BAU messaging. So you want your customers to be able to differentiate between the two. You want those customers to immediately recognize the difference and understand the exclusivity of your Black Friday, Cyber Monday offers. And one of the things that we do to achieve this is we like to use urgency-driven copy that really emphasizes limited time and availability and scarcity. So key factors that can really drive those conversions during the period. A really great example might be to say phrases like limited stock or end soon or exclusive early access, especially when it comes to those VIPs as well. So this can really help to increase that sense of urgency. And then I think another really important thing to note on this is we also like to prioritize consistency across all of the channels. So we want to ensure that all of that sales messaging is really unified across paid ads, email, and then of course the website. So that really cohesive approach helps to create a more seamless experience for the customer. And then it also helps to ensure that those offers are unique and not just a part of that typical standard BAU messaging.
Yeah, I love that. We also work with clients on badging of some of that promo messages. So whether it's Black Friday sale, final hours, so being able to change those badges as you step through that promotional time, last chance, low stock, almost gone, really great for encouraging that purchase behavior. We have time for one last question. So someone is asking here, we've spoken a lot about things to do. Is there any things that we should be avoiding or any things that you've tried in previous years that you wouldn't recommend doing again? So essentially, what are those war stories? So Rihanna or Sahani, got any tips there? Or even maybe Jess, I know you work across a lot of brands, on things that you've tried that you wouldn't do again?
Maybe Sahani, do you want to jump in and then I can jump in after?
Yeah, I would say don't do any testing during that Black Friday period at all. Try and get all your testing done ahead of time. So once you've set up those foundational flows, make sure you have some A/B tests within those flows as well. So you can be testing the time delay between emails within the series. You can be testing whether to put a header image or not. You can be testing different copy and messaging, but I would say get that all done before your big moment at the end of the year.
Yeah, love it. So learn before, not during. I think as well, yeah, Rhea, you pre-touched on it before in terms of the personalization piece. So making sure that those things are personalized as opposed to just serving up that same experience for all shoppers is probably key. Thank you for answering all of those questions. Let me jump across to one big takeaway. So what do we think retailers need to do before Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits? Jess, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think my biggest takeaway, and I think if there's one thing that I would like brands to really prioritize, it's really around whether or not it actually makes financial sense for a brand to actually participate in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So I think it's really important that brands are analyzing the numbers and they're critically assessing whether the offers will actually drive profitability, not just revenue. I think it's really crucial to plan your campaigns with a very, very clear understanding of how much you're willing to spend per acquisition and what resources you'll actually need for example, a really great example is the creative required for your paid ads. Typically, we like to switch out something fresh and new, so it really differentiates between what you're doing pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday. A lot of brands aren't taking into consideration all of the different costs that are actually involved. So this is really, really important. I think just another thing to note is that I highly recommend identifying a key KPI that really signals profitability, such as profit on ad spend. We tend to refer to that as POAS. A lot of brands will go all in on ROAS, and it's just not a metric that we leverage as a North Star anymore. We really want to prioritize profitability. So really understanding those numbers, understand whether or not it actually makes sense. If you're looking at what other brands are doing and they're doing, 20% off site-wide, it doesn't mean it's going to work and perform for you. So know your numbers, understand whether or not it's going to be profitable for you before you actually start to invest in the strategy. And this is really the time to start planning what that looks like now. So get stuck into those numbers. And then, of course, if that's something that you need support with, then just hit up our team.
Great. Thank you, Jess. Great tip. Ree, from your side, one big takeaway?
I think I've already mentioned it, but my biggest takeaway is just focus on customer experience and make time to test all year. Use your smaller promotional periods throughout the year to build learnings, iterate, and then automate.
Love it. Sahani?
I would say that it's important to map out and strategize your customer journeys. So very similar to Ree. During those major sales periods like Black Friday, you have a huge influx of eyeballs to site. And we've seen this with Age, Athletica and Age as well, but we have a lot of first-time new customers converting during that period. So ultimately, how your customers interact with you, whether it be on-site, through that customer service chat window on socials or through your email flows, it all contributes to how you're being perceived as a brand. So really leverage your own channels. That's where you have a lot of control, and use it as a branding tool.
Yeah, great advice there. And Hugh?
Yeah, I'd just say, and it's something you and I have said on previous panels as well, Kate, which is on that iteration points, use the tech partners that you're operating with as well. It's so pivotal for us to be able to support you as best we can. And I think when it comes to it, with those iterations, with those questions and potential issues that you see arise, if it can't be an internal fix, lean on the likes of Jess and Evocative or another agency, or speak directly to the tech partner to make sure that you have everything in place to feel super confident heading into those periods, and for us to be able to provide that support that you deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working with brands day in, day out. And so being able to leverage those best practices, being able to make sure that everything is set up and optimized is really important. My last one would be on the same theme as Ree was talking about, making sure we're testing everything, making sure we're testing and experimenting with those different Google Shopping titles, images, product descriptions, and making sure we're using that data to see what converts. Similarly on site, so running those A/B testing different merchandising strategies. Does personalization work across site when it's switched on, or does your business logic take over and perform better? Does it change on your sale page versus your new arrivals? And using that data to inform those decisions that are being made. So last chance to grab a copy of that ebook to unpack even more insights when it comes to turbocharging your tech stack for conversions ahead of peak. So take advantage of reading that ebook. It is action-packed, full of best practice advice. I would love to thank our panel for joining us today and being so generous with all of those insights of best practices, tips and tricks and insights. I'm sure everyone has a lot of things they can go away and think about. To learn more about Search Spring, Gorgeous or Evocative, we have those QR codes. You can reach all of us. We're very active on LinkedIn as well. And to see those best practices in action, ageworld.com.au, drop the .au if you are a global listener tuning in today, and ageathletica.com.au. And you can use those QR codes to go and see all of those things that we've spoken to today really come to life on those sites as well. So thank you for joining us. We hope that you have plenty that you've been able to take away, that you can go away, start to action and get really prepared so that we have a really successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Thank you, team.